third thing is we're going to mark your seam allowance below your zipper. So you can see currently now your zipper is here, right? This is where your zipper ended. I'll just go slightly below it and mark out 1.5, which is your seam allowance. Okay, just a small distance. If you want an amount, maybe about 5 cm. Okay. Then the next thing we're gonna do is draw a marking slightly above your zipper stitch and right beside it. Okay, can you see this is where you ended, right? Your zipper stitch. You're gonna go slightly higher and right beside it. Just put a small dot there. That is where your sewing needle position will be later on. Okay, the purpose of using this footer, so what we're gonna do is change to this left-right footer. We're using this footer because if you notice there are no barriers around, so you can move your needle closer to the fabric. Okay, so that is why lah. Okay, I'll show you individually.
Okay, sure.
I'll sit down beside you lah. Okay, so you place your needle as close to the zipper stitch as possible. Okay, if you were to sew very far away, let's say you sew over here, can you see there's a distance away from your zipper stitch, right? Once you flip over to the right side, what happens is, on the outside, can you see there's a little gap here? Because the distance is too far from the zipper stitch already. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back. Okay, can you see? I placed the dot right beside your zipper stitch. Okay, if you were to sew exactly on your zipper stitch, what happens is that you're sewing exactly on your zip. So you're kind of like stabbing on your zipper lah. So what we're gonna do is actually sew slightly above your zipper stitch and right beside it as close as possible. So that on the outside, even though this is actually a slightly slanted stitch, right? On the right side, it will look like it's a straight stitch because it looks seamless. Okay, so that's the purpose of changing to this footer. Okay, so no, this is correct. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, so I'll teach you how to change to this footer in a bit, but let's pin this down first. So we're going to pull this aside, okay, and align your fabric together and pin this down. Okay, then here, pin this down as well. Okay, then let me show you how to change to this footer. Okay, so why is this called left-right footer? Is because you can clip either on the left or right side. Can you see this bar? And then there's this center point, right? So you can clip either on the left or the right. In this case, because I want my needle to be closer to the right, so I'll clip on the right side. Okay, how we're going to change to this is there's a black button behind your footer. You see over here? You're just going to press onto it, this button here, push it towards you, and you release your original footer. Place it aside. Once you release this, can you see at the side there is this semicircle? You're going to clip on the right side. So you're going to place your footer below and then use the lever here to try and clip onto that bar. Once you clip, there should be a click sound. Let me show you again. Yeah, got a click sound, huh? That means you're positioned correctly already. Okay, once that is done, you place your fabric below. Sorry? So I press this to release the footer. I pull this down to clip onto the footer. Okay, so I'll place this below. Okay, what you want to do is to place the edge of your footer right beside your zipper, like this, and then we'll move the needle closer to the right. Remember, I asked you guys to mark a dot right position. That is for your needle. Okay, so you move it to the right, then bring your needle slowly down and make sure that you hit roughly where the dot position is. It's very important that whenever you use this footer, you change it to the slower speed. Okay, and you have to be very alert whenever you're looking at this, using this footer. Why, right? It's because there are no barriers around. So if you're not careful, your finger might touch the needle, and what happens is you snap that. Okay, and it has happened before. Okay, but thank goodness not to my students. So I always emphasize, be very careful. Look at where you're sewing. Make sure your fingers are not too close to the needle. Okay. So now we're gonna put this aside, push down your fabric, and sew forward, reverse, and slowly, gradually blend back into your seam allowance. Okay, once you blend it back, what we're gonna do is change back to your original footer. Your needle position change back to center, and then you're going to sew 1.5 all the way down. Okay, why we're changing back to your original footer, right, is because currently your needle position is not at the center, so we cannot use the seam allowance guide. Okay, so that's why we change back. Yeah, so we're just going to sew until away from the zipper, then change back to your original footer. Okay, you all try?